Hi everyone, today I have a little book. It's The Lonely Planet Pocket Guide to Venice, Italy. And I really like this because, well, first because it's small. I always love little miniature things. But when I started reading some of the descriptions, I thought they were above average and very just well written and colorful language, and I just thought it would be fun to look through it together and read some of the entries just to give you an idea. It does come with a little guide map in the back. It's nicely folded up. It has a full street index on the back, and the blow up of the Grand Canal, and there's the Greater Venice area, the water routes, the Vaporetto, and then of course here is the general map. So super handy. I might use this as we go through it. I'm not quite sure yet. Let's see. So this I think is, let's see, is 2022. So it is a couple years old, but still pretty good, up to date. And see, it's arranged. At the beginning, there's a plan your trip section. Explore Venice. This is by different regions: San Marco, Dorso Duro and the Accademia, San Polo and Santa Croce, Correggio and the Ghetto, Castello, the Lagoon and the Islands. It's a survival guide, special features. And I have top experiences, so if you just want to hit the highlights, if you don't have too much time, you can just refer to that. Pictures are nice too for such a small book. Beautiful full color photographs. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Such a beautiful place. Oh, on the TV is it's like a video of a canal, a ride through the canals of Venice. So I thought that would be fun to look at. So this is just an example. At the beginning, there's a section on dining out. If we start reading a little bit here, the visual blitz that is Venice tends to leave visitors weak-kneed and grasping for the nearest panino, which is a sandwich. But there's more to Venice than simple carb loading. For centuries, Venice has gone beyond the call of dietary duty and lavished visitors with inventive feasts. Now it's your turn to devour addictive chicchetti, which are Venetian tapas, and a lagoon's worth of succulent seafood. Here is a little bit on the chicchetti. Little side dishes, appetizer kind of like things. Chicchetti are some of the best culinary finds in Italy, served at lunch and from around 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They range from basic bar snacks such as spicy meatballs, fresh tomato, and basil bruschetta to highly inventive small plates. Treasure hunt. This is different. Studios, leather goods, jewelry, antiques, fashion, home decor, souvenirs, festivals, music, live opera, architecture. Architecture is really interesting and unique in Venice. Of course, there's museums, palaces, quiet neighborhoods. Here is if you have only 4 days, day 1 through 4, what you could do. Okay, so it gives you the 4 main sections, or 5 main sections, 6 main sections, and then there's a whole bunch of walking tours. Look at the colors. Like if you haven't been to Italy, or Venice in particular, the colors are amazing. So here is San Marco and Palazzo Ducale. So many world-class attractions are packed into San Marco. Some visitors never leave. Others are reluctant to visit, fearing the crowds. But why miss the pleasures of the Basilica di San Marco, Palazzo Ducale, Museo Correr, and Jewel Box La Fenice? Judge for yourself whether they earn their reputations. But don't stop there. The back streets are packed with galleries, boutiques, and bars. Getting there. Vaporetto. That's like a bus line, except for it's a boat. Since there's so many canals that get around, you can get around by these Vaporetto boats. Line 1 serves stops on the Grand Canal. Line 2 is faster and stops at Rialto, San Samuele, and San Marco Giardinetti. Traghetto. A gondola ferry crosses the Grand Canal from Santa Maria del Giglio. Follow yellow sign shortcuts from Rialto through Marzarie to Piazza San Marco. It's often quicker than the Vaporetto. Alright, so here is the Basilica di San Marco. In a city, here's a picture. In a city packed with architectural wonders, nothing beats Basilica di San Marco for sheer spectacle and bombastic exuberance. In AD 828, wily Venetian merchants allegedly smuggled St. Mark's corpse out of Egypt in a barrel of pork fat to avoid inspection by authorities. Venice built a basilica around a stolen saint, in keeping with the city's own sense of supreme self-importance. I have never heard that before. Facade. The front of the basilica ripples and crests like a wave, its 5 niche portals capped with shimmering mosaics and frothy stonework arches. is especially resplendent just before sunset, when the sun's dying rays set the golden mosaics ablaze. Grand entrances are made through the central portal under an ornate triple arch featuring Egyptian purple porphyry columns and intricate 13th to 14th century stone reliefs. The oldest mosaic on the facade, dating from 1270, is in the lunette above the far left portal, depicting San Mark's stolen body arriving at the basilica. The theme is echoed in 3 of the other lunettes, including the 1660 mosaics above the second portal from the right, showing turbaned official recoiling from the hamper of pork fat. There's another picture here. The Palazzo Ducale. Don't be fooled by its genteel Gothic elegance. Behind that lacy pink and white patterned facade, the Doge Palace shows serious muscle and a steely will to survive. The seat of Venice's government for more than 7 centuries, this powerhouse stood the test of crashes and conspiracies, only to be outwitted by Casanova, the notorious seducer who escaped from the Attic prison. I did not know that either. That's a lot of history, interesting history here. Wow. Collegio in Sala del Senato. Few were granted an audience in the Palladio-designed Collegio, which is the council chambers, where Veronese's 1575 Virtues of the Republic ceiling shows Venice as a bewitching blonde, waving her scepter like a wand over justice and peace. Father-son team Jacopo and Domenico Tintoretto attempt similar flattery, showing Venice keeping company with Apollo, Mars, and Mercury in their triumph of Venice ceiling for the Sala del Senato, or the Senate chambers. Music. Here's one of the walking tours through San Marco. Just above the red line. Here is an example of cafe description. Here is the tango at Cafe Florian. It's getting dark. I should turn on the light. I have to turn on the light. I hope it's not too harsh. I just can't read anymore. Let's see. Cafe Florian at Piazza San Marco 57. Open 9 a.m. to midnight, April through October, shorter hours in winter. The cafe maintains rituals established around 1720. White-jacketed waiters serve cappuccino on silver trays, and the orchestra strikes up as sunset illuminates San Marco's mosaics. Piazza seating during concerts costs £6 extra, euro extra, but dreamy-eyed romantics hardly notice. Among Italy's first bars to welcome women and revolutionaries, Florian's radical chic reputation persists with its art installations. Here's another one. Musica al Palazzo. Hang on to your Prosecco. It's always high drama in the historic salons of Musica al Palazzo. The beautiful Venetian Baroque palace overlooking the Grand Canal provides a unique, intimate setting as the audience follows the action from hall to hall, surrounded by authentic artworks and furnishings. And let's see, what is this? Baroque bravado at Interpreti Veneziani. What is it? Oh, it's a let's see. It's a performing troupe, I guess. Interpreti Veneziani played Vivaldi on 18th century instruments as a soundtrack for living in this city of intrigue. You'll never listen to the Four Seasons again without hearing summer storms erupting over the lagoon, or snow-muffled footsteps hurrying over footbridges in winter's night intrigues. Here's some of the different sites in the region. Museo Corner. Napoleon pulled down an ancient church to build his royal digs over Piazza San Marco, and then fill them with the riches of the Doges while taking some of Venice's finest heirlooms to France as trophies. When he lost Venice to the Austrians, Empress Sisi remodeled the palace, adding ceiling frescoes, silk cladding, and brocade curtains. It's now open to the public and full of many of Venice's reclaimed treasures, including ancient maps, statues, cameos, and 4 centuries of artistic masterpieces. It's just, each entry has some interesting tidbit. You could just read the whole book. Palazzo Grassi. Grand Canal gondola riders gasp at their first glimpse of the massive sculptures by contemporary artists docked in front of Giorgio Massari's neoclassical palace. The provocative art collection of French billionaire Francois Pinault overflows Palazzo Grassi, while clever curation and shameless art star name-dropping are the hallmarks of rotating temporary exhibits. Despite all this artistic glamour, it's Tadao Ando's creatively repurposed interior architecture that steals the show. I don't have a picture. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Keeping Venice Afloat is a little sidebar. It's about, as you know, it's sinking. Or you may know. And they're trying lots of different projects, and they have tried different projects to fix support the city. Let's see. Impossible though it seems, Venetians built their home on 117 small islands, connected by some 400 bridges over 150 canals. But if floating marble palaces boggle the mind, consider what's underneath them. An entire forest worth of petrified wood pylons, rammed through silty barene or shoals into the clay lagoon's floor. That is crazy. Venice is ingeniously constructed to contend with lagoon tides, so even a 4-alarm acqua alta, which is high water, is rarely a cause for panic. But in 1966, record floods poured into Venetian homes in terrifying waves. Residents were stranded in the wreckage. Thanks to Venice's international appeal, assistance poured in. UNESCO coordinated 50 private organizations to redress the ravages of the flood. Cleaning up after Acqua Alta is a tedious job for Venetians, pumping water out of flooded ground floors and preventing corrosion by scrubbing salt residue off surfaces. Venice's canals must also be regularly dredged, which involves pumping water out, removing sludge, patching brickwork by hand. Venice and its lagoon are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but in the wake of 2012's Costa Concordia shipwreck, UNESCO expressed concern about the impact of cruise ships and unsustainable tourism. Locally, opposition to cruise ships was led by critics such as No Grandi Navi, which spearheaded a successful campaign to have them banned from the lagoon. In 2021, the Italian government barred vessels weighing more than 25,000 tons from entering the lagoon. So they didn't talk about the sinking here. That must be something else. Drinking. Different bars. Typical kind of a classic campaign. Shopping. Let's see. Shopping. We've got luxury linens, treasures from yesteryear, cashmere, Gucci, lots of glass art. This is the Academia. Prime Grand Canal waterfront with Golden Age splendor. The Peggy Guggenheim Collection's Modern Edge, Gallery dell'Accademia Renaissance Beauties, and Punta della Dogana ambitious installation art. The neighborhood lazes days away on the sun-drenched Satere and convenes in Campo Santa Margherita for spritz and flirtation. While the eastern tip is heavily tourist-focused, it develops a more local feel farther west. It's beautiful. Let's see. Here's the art collection. Let's read about some of the sites. How about Carezzonico? What is that? It's a museum. Baroque dreams come true at this Grand Canal Palazzo or mansion, palace mansion, where a marble staircase leads to a vast gilded ballroom sumptuous salons filled with period furniture, paintings, porcelain, and mesmerizing ceiling frescoes, 4 of which were painted by Giambattista Tiepolo. The building was largely stripped of its finery when the Rezzonico family departed in 1810. In 1935, the city acquired it and refurnished it with pieces salvaged from other decaying palaces. Here's an example of a ceiling fresco. It's pretty fantastic. There are some restaurants in the area. Let's see. Here's one called Riviera. Former rock musician G.P. Cremonini now focuses his considerable talents on ensuring his top-end restaurant delivers exemplary service and perfectly cooked seafood. Think homemade pasta with scallops or sea bass poached with prawns. The setting, overlooking the Giudecca Canal, is similarly spectacular. The 11-course tasting menu with wine pairings is an unmissable experience. This looks interesting. This is a Palazzo Cadario, it's called. 15th century palazzo with 3 levels of arched windows, abutted by 3 oculi, surrounded by discs of colored marble. Its mesmerizing reflection was once painted by Claude Monet, but it is famous for more nefarious reasons, starting with the daughter of its original owner, Giovanni Dario. An unusual number of its occupants have met untimely deaths. Gossips claim that this dissuaded Woody Allen from buying the house in the 1990s. The former manager of The Who, Kit Lambert, moved out after complaining of being hounded by the palace's ghosts. He was found dead shortly after in 1981. The Who's bass player, John Entwistle, died of a heart attack 1 week after renting the place in 2002. My goodness. I think I'll skip that on the tour. Let's see. Pasticceria. We need pastry shops. We haven't had any pastry shops yet. Here is the Pasticceria Tonnolo. Long, skinny tonnolo is the stuff of local legend, a fact confirmed by the never-ending queue of customers. Ditch the packaged B&B croissants for flaky apple strudel, velvety beignet al zabaione, which is a marsala cream pastry, and oozing chocolate croissants. Devour one at the bar with a bracing espresso, then bag another for the road. So you get the idea. That's a nice picture of a gondolier. You know that sister lived in Venice for a number of years. One time she got a job taking pictures of people when I think it was when they got off the gondola ride or something like that. Or maybe just in Piazza San Marco. And then they would, take their pictures and then like on a Polaroid. And then they could sell it to them if people wanted to buy it. Murano art glass, of course, that's very famous. Wow, this is amazing. Beautiful. So many bridges. The Bridge of Sighs is very famous, Ponte dei Sospiri, Italian word. And if you don't know the story, it was tied the court's house to the prison dungeon, and it was all walled in. It's not like open like this. There's probably a picture of it here somewhere. But it had like a few little windows, just cutouts in the wall, and the prisoners were set to look out. This was like their last glimpse of the outside world, so they would sigh. So it's called the Bridge of Sighs, and before they went into the prison or the dungeon or whatever it was called. Ponte dei Sospiri. Let's see. There's a little index and back. If you have a particular restaurant or hotel, museum that you want to look up. It's a little bit of Italian language pronunciation guide, basic words. Call the police. Chiami la polizia. Call a doctor. Chiami un medico. Buongiorno. Arrivederci. Come sta? Bene, e lei? Per favore, grazie. Mi scusi, mi dispiace. Non capisco. Parla inglese? Let's see, it was something I was going to show you. What was it? I can't remember now. Beaches. There are some beaches on the Lido. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about Murano. There are other small islands that have the glass, but Murano's the most famous for it. Millefiori, just so many things they do with glass. Lamp work, glass blowing. Let's see, Murano Art Glass Walking Tour. Unrivaled masters of art glass since the 10th century, Venice's glass artisans moved to Murano in the 13th century to contain furnace fire hazards. Trade secrets were so jealously guarded that glass masters who left the city were threatened with assassination. Today, Murano glass masters ply their trade along Fondamenta dei Vetri and Ramo di Mula, and their wares are